As I was reflecting upon saying no to this honor, it fell on the deaf ears like sometimes I hear my message fall on the deaf ears of my parishioners. But I'm very happy and appreciate the kindness and the thoughtfulness. You know, when I was in the seminary in St. Louis, I was studying theology. I was introduced to a segment of people in the scriptures who in Hebrew were called the Anoim. It's a Hebrew term meaning those who seem to be forgotten, neglected, sometimes referred to, and especially in the Beatitudes, as the poor in spirit. And the Israelites were always reminded by the prophets that it was important that they never forget these Anoim, for they themselves had been in that category before God chose them. And so they were to be especially aware of the forgotten, the neglected, what they called sometimes in the scriptures you hear it, the widows and the orphans, because these were the ones who had no one else to take care of them. Without a husband, a woman was dependent upon others to help her survive. Without parents, the children were the first to be neglected, with no one to assist them. And so the Anoim were the forgotten ones who in society would become lost and forsaken. And it seems like the more and more the Israelites flourished, becoming more and more of a nation, become more and more comfortable in the world, these Anoim were present, but became so often unnoticed. And unfortunately, this happens in every age and every part of the world. Remember the story of Jesus' the parable of Lazarus and the rich man? Remember that one? The gist of the story was that the rich man's mistake was that he never even noticed Lazarus, the poor man in his neighborhood. And thus he was neglected. And so we hear Jesus saying in that parable, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you do to me. One group of people that I know in Quincy who noticed the neglected ones in our society is the people of Chaddock. They've made a type of ministry to the Anoim of our society. Those young people who have struggles, trauma, all kinds of differing abuses, and other struggles and difficulties with no one to really plead their cause. And the beautiful part that I've noticed in the 6 years that I've served as on the board is that Chaddock became that ministry to them, fulfilling that need of being noticed. You know, when I was in the seminary, showing my age, but you know, Quincy North out there used to be called Our Lady of Angels Seminary. I was there, won't even tell you when, the years. But we were invited to take part in what we called field education. The students at OLA were involved in differing experiences to sort of help to expand their horizons and responding to the needs of God's people. Chaddock was one of those experiences. But for some reason, I don't know how many of you remember, but Quinata, which used to be called the Woodland Children's Home, that was my assignment. And I can remember going there to be a big brother to a little boy and working with him. But other seminarians served here at Chaddock. It wasn't until I returned as pastor of the parish here that I realized, and I told the board over and over, that Chaddock was truly the best kept secret here in Quincy. Although their role was never to be a secret, which I think most people here in Quincy knew where Chaddock was, but didn't realize the impact that they were making in the lives of our young people, the Anawim, from throughout the United States. In fact, I would venture to say that in the field of serving some neglected young people, Quincy community wasn't as well of that healing and reconciliation that was taking place here at Chaddock than many parts of our country understood. That's why I said it was the best kept secret in town. But you know, after serving the 6 years of being a member of the board, after experiencing what they were doing with the lives of these Anawim, I've grown to appreciate and love their ministry. The people here are truly ministers of the gospel. One of the things I've also resolved, because my dad was, some of you probably should realize this, that my dad taught us a lot about what Christmas meant. And so one of the things that I have resolved is that I'm going to make sure that the kids here at Chaddock know what Christmas really means. And so I will continue to support, especially at Christmas time, these kids who are sometimes neglected at home, having a very nice Christmas of their own. And because Chaddock have been neighbors of us ever since we moved here from 8th and Main, I also wanted us to be great neighbors to them. With the help of some parishioners that are here with us, and many of, I see part of the committee involved in the ministry that are here too, we're trying to be the best of neighbors with them. You know, sometimes one of my first introductions to Chaddock kids was when I'd find one in church seeking sanctuary. Because the adults were outside, not sure whether they come into church or not. And I said, yes, it's a Catholic church, but you as Methodists, we won't bite you. You can come in. But and this was not the first time, but there were several times that she ventured to come in church, which to me, if you're seeking something, what better way to do it? I know also that Chaddock themselves, some of the employees, were a great help for us when we had some difficulties on our own. And we always hope to be ministers with them in any kind of difficulties that they have. We want to be just not good neighbors, but we want to be the best of neighbors with them. Our ministries serve God's people and go beyond the differences of denominations. And what has impressed me was how Chaddock lived their mission statement. The statement states that their efforts are grounded in a shared vision, a world where every person matters, relationships are valued, and healing and change are possible. In my years of working on the board, I've seen that mission statement lived and become a reality, thus keeping Chaddock our best kept secret here in Quincy. But we can't continue to keep it a secret, but must promote, appreciate, and assist them in serving the Anawim of society. I pray that God will continue to bless their efforts. And I thank each and every one of you gathered here today for helping and assisting them, as what we do to those neglected, we do for Christ himself. In a special way, I just want to thank a couple of people in leadership roles. I want to especially thank Debbie Reed for her work, her tireless efforts. You can't be around Debbie very long before you catch the excitement of Chaddock. And so I also want her to be reassured of our prayers that God's healing and graces will be with her So can we show our lend of support for her? I'd like to also thank other people like Matt Obert. Where's Matt? I saw him over there. Okay, Matt, as well as Jeff, for all the work that they do, for their willingness to allow St. Peter's to be very much a part of the ministry here at Chaddock. The other day, one of our ministry groups had an ice cream social for the kids. It was a tremendous success. And one of the beautiful parts is, as I see us, is that we're truly, between St. Peter's and Chaddock, building bridges and not walls. And that's my role and my hope and my prayer as the recipient of this very prestigious award. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.